Have you ever said to yourself, it is too late for me?
Yeah, that is such a heavy question.
It really is. Someone right now is, looking at a birthday cake. They see the number 40 or 50
Yep.
or maybe even 60.
Right. Written right there in the sweet icing.
Exactly. The candles are burning, but they are not smiling at all.
Mm.
They are looking at that number and they are, well, making a terrible decision.
They decide to just throw away their dream.
Yes, they decide to stop trying. And why? Because they think the number on that cake means their time is completely finished. So, welcome to the deep dive. I'm so glad you are spending time with us today.
It is a very sad picture you just painted. But it happens every single day.
Every day.
People look at a clock or they look at a calendar and they just give up. They see an open door in front of them. The door leads to a new job or a new country or, a new skill like learning English.
Right, something exciting.
But they do not walk through the door. They think, I am too old. It is too late.
I have been studying how people change their lives recently. I really want to understand how people learn new things when they are older.
It is a big topic.
It is. I spent weeks reading stories and studying the human brain, and I discovered something very important. Feeling too old or feeling too late is just a lie.
A lie.
It is a very common lie. We tell this lie to ourselves all the time.
What's fascinating here is how strong that lie is. It holds people back more than a lack of money.
Wow, really?
Absolutely. It holds people back more than a lack of education, too. The thought alone stops them before they even try. So today, our mission is to break that lie. We want to prove to you that it is never too late to change your life.
Yes. We will share some amazing real-life stories I found during my research. We will look at real people who just started over.
And then we will not just leave you with nice stories.
No, we studied how the brain builds habits. We narrowed it down to a few simple steps. We will give you a daily plan, a plan you can actually start today.
But before we go deeper, we have a promise for you, the listener. We know many of you are learning English right now.
Yes, you might be at the very beginning of your language journey.
So we will speak clearly today. We will use simple, everyday words.
Right. We will keep our sentences short. If we use a difficult word, we will explain it. We want you to feel comfortable and, understand everything.
We are going to focus on real-life English you can use every day.
Perfect. So let us begin with the big problem, the lie of too late. I wanted to know why we feel like we are out of time. Why do we feel old even when we have so many years left to live?
Well, we have to look at how we view our lives. There's a very common phrase people use in English. The phrase is, I missed the train.
Oh yeah, I missed the train. I researched this phrase a lot.
It is a strong image.
It is. When someone says, I missed the train, they're not talking about a real train station. They're talking about a big chance in life.
Like a job.
Exactly. Maybe a good job was available, but they did not apply for it. Or maybe they wanted to learn to play the guitar when they were 20, but they did not buy a guitar.
And now they are 30.
Right. Now they are 30. They feel the chance is gone forever. The train left the station.
It creates a really heavy feeling of sadness. Imagine everyone else is on that train.
Yeah, waving out the window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are moving forward. They are going to a beautiful destination. And you are just standing alone on the dark platform. You feel totally left behind.
But I want to push back on this feeling. I thought about this train analogy a lot while I was studying.
Okay, let's unpack this.
If life is a train station, we act like there's only one train for the entire day. We act like the station closes completely after that one train leaves.
But think about a real train station in a big city.
Right. A real station is very busy. Trains are always moving.
There are many trains.
Exactly. They come
Okay.
every hour. Sometimes they come every 10 minutes. If you miss the train at 8 o'clock in the morning, what do?
You definitely do not sit on the dirty floor and cry forever.
No. You buy a coffee, you sit on a bench, you just wait for the next train.
And the next train might even be better. It might have softer seats. It might go to a more beautiful city.
Right. You did not run out of time. You just have to wait for the next opportunity.
But people do not believe this, do they?
No, they don't. And I studied this question. Why do we feel so bad about our age? And it always comes back to one really dangerous habit.
Which is?
We look at other people. We compare ourselves to them.
Comparison. Comparison is a very quiet danger. It sneaks into our minds. We do not even realize we are doing it.
Let us think about a normal day. You wake up, you drink your tea, you feel completely fine.
A good morning.
Yeah. Then you open your phone, you look at the internet, you see a picture of a young man. He is 25 years old. He is standing in front of a very large, expensive house.
Oh, I know this picture.
Right. He says, I just bought my dream house.
And suddenly, your tea does not taste good anymore.
Exactly. You are 30 years old. You rent a small apartment. Your apartment needs new paint. You look at the 25-year-old man. You look at his big house. You feel a pain in your stomach.
You feel angry at yourself.
Yes. You think, I'm older than him, but he has more than me. I failed. I missed the train.
But that picture on the internet is never the whole truth.
Never.
You do not see his wealthy parents who gave him money. You do not see his high levels of stress. You only see the final happy picture.
While I was studying this, I found a big idea that explains what happens next. It is a big idea about the mind, but it makes a lot of sense.
What is it called?
It is called a self-fulfilling prophecy.
A self-fulfilling prophecy. That sounds a little complicated. How did you understand it during your research?
Well, I thought about it like going to a party. Let us say a friend invites me to a party. Before I go, I tell myself, this party will be very boring. Nobody will talk to me. I will have a terrible time.
So you start with a very negative belief.
Yes. So I go to the party. Because I believe it will be boring, I do not smile. I cross my arms. I sit in a dark corner. I just look angry.
Right.
If someone tries to say hello, I give a short, cold answer.
And because you act that way, people naturally walk away from you. They do not want to talk to an angry person in a dark corner.
Right. So I sit alone for 2 hours. Then I go home. I say to myself, see, I was right. The party was completely boring. Nobody talked to me.
But the truth is, you made it boring.
Exactly. My belief changed my actions. My actions made the bad thing happen. That is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It is a perfect explanation. If you believe a bad thing will happen, your actions make it come true. Now, connect that to age.
Let us use the piano. You are 28 years old. You hear beautiful piano music. You really want to learn how to play. But then you think, I am 28. I am too old. Children learn fast. Adults learn slow. It is impossible for me.
That is the negative belief. What are the actions that follow?
Well, because you believe it is impossible, you do not buy a piano. You do not look for a teacher on the internet. You do not touch a single piano key. You do absolutely nothing.
And 5 years pass.
Yes. You are 33 years old. You still cannot play the piano. You say, see, I knew I was too old to learn. But age had nothing to do with it. Your negative thought stopped your action.
I want to talk about what is happening inside the head when we do this. The human brain is very efficient.
What do you mean by efficient?
It likes to save energy. When you think a bad thought, like, I cannot do this, the brain agrees with you. The brain says, okay, we cannot do this, so we will not spend any energy trying. The brain just closes the door.
Oh, wow, that makes so much sense. If I say I can do it, the brain opens the door. It starts looking for ways to succeed.
Yes. Your thoughts are instructions for your brain. If you give the brain a bad instruction, it follows it completely.
So feeling too late is really just a trick. It is a bad story we tell ourselves, and we need better stories.
We definitely do.
I decided to search for better stories. I spent days reading old newspapers and history books. I wanted to find real people, people who prove that you can start very late and still succeed.
Real stories are powerful. They show us what is actually possible in the real world. So who did you find first?
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
The first story is about a man named Harlan Sanders.
Harlan Sanders.
Yes. If you travel to almost any city in the world, you will see his face. Have you seen the restaurants called KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Oh, yes. The red and white signs, the big buckets of chicken. KFC is everywhere.
And the man on the sign has white hair, glasses, and a white suit. That is Harlan Sanders. People call him Colonel Sanders. I read about his life, and it was not easy.
No.
Not at all. It was full of pain and failure.
Tell us about his early life. What did he do before the chicken?
He did everything, and he failed at everything. He left school when he was only 12 years old. He was just a child.
12.
Yeah. He went to work on a farm. He worked from the early morning until the dark night. He cleaned dirt. He fed animals. It was very, very hard work.
That is a very tough start for a young boy.
It was. Later, he got older. He tried many different jobs. He worked on the big trains. He put black coal into the hot fire to make the train run. It was dirty and hot.
Did he like it?
No, and he lost that job. Then he tried to sell insurance. He walked from house to house. He knocked on doors. People just told him to go away. He lost that job, too.
It sounds like he could not find his right place in the world.
He really could not. He even started a company that made lamps for houses, but another company invented a better lamp. Nobody wanted his lamps. His company closed.
He lost his money.
Yes, he had a wife and children. He needed to buy food for them. He failed again and again.
Imagine the heavy feeling in his chest.
Yeah.
He probably felt like he missed every single train in the station.
He felt terrible. Years passed. He became an old man. He reached the age of 62.
62 years old.
Yes. Most people at that age want to stop working. They want to rest in a comfortable chair.
They think their story is completely finished.
But Harlan Sanders had one thing he was really good at. He knew how to cook very good chicken.
Oh, here we go.
He had a secret recipe with different spices. He cooked it in a special pot. Everyone who ate his chicken just loved it.
So he had a skill. A small skill, but a very good one.
Yes. So at 62 years old, he did not sit in a chair. He got into his old car. He put his cooking pots in the back seat, and he started driving across the country. He drove from city to city.
What was his plan? Did he want to open his own restaurant?
No, he did not have enough money for a building. He went to other people's restaurants. He walked through the front door.
And what did he say?
He said to the owner, "I have the best chicken recipe in the world. Let me cook it for you. If you like it, you can sell it. You pay me a small amount of money for every chicken you sell."
That is a very brave thing to do.
Yeah.
Walking into a stranger's business and just asking for a chance.
It takes a lot of courage. And do you know what happened?
They said yes.
No. The owners laughed at him. They said, "You are an old man in a white suit. Get out of my kitchen." They said no.
Oh, wow. That must have really hurt his pride.
It did, but he drove to the next town. He slept in the back of his car because he had no money for a hotel. He ate cold food. He walked into another restaurant, and they said no again.
It just kept happening.
I found the real number in a history book. People said no to Harlan Sanders 1,009 times.
1,009 times. Let's just pause and think about that number.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 times, people said no.
It is crazy. If I ask someone for a job and they say no, I feel sad for a week. If 3 people say no to me, I might just give up. I might say, well, my idea is bad.
That is a very fair point. Sometimes, if everyone says no, maybe the idea is bad. Did he ever think about changing his recipe?
He listened to people. He improved his cooking a little, but he believed in his main idea. He believed his chicken was good. He did not let the number 1,000 stop him.
And he didn't let his age stop him either.
Right. He did not let the number 62 stop him. Finally, restaurant number 1,010 said yes.
One yes can change a whole life.
That one yes started a very big business. Soon, many restaurants wanted his chicken. Then he built his own restaurants. And today, KFC is in almost every country.
He became a very rich and famous man.
Yes. But he started his real success when he was a tired old man sleeping in a car.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that story is incredible. It destroys the lie completely. Society tells us we must have a perfect career by age 30.
Yes, 30 is the big number.
Society says if you are not rich by 35, you are a failure. But Harlan Sanders proves society is just wrong.
Completely wrong. But, maybe our listener does not want to cook chicken. Maybe our listener wants to do something creative. So I found another story. This one is about the world of art and beauty. Do you know the name Vera Wang?
Oh, yes. Vera Wang is a very famous designer. She makes the most beautiful, expensive wedding dresses in the world.
She really does.
Famous movie stars wear her dresses when they get married.
They do. Her dresses are like pieces of art. They are soft, white, and perfect. But when I studied her life, I found a huge surprise.
What was it?
She was not always a designer. When she was young, she did not sew clothes at all.
What was her dream when she was young then?
She wanted to be a figure skater. She wanted to dance on the ice. She loved the cold ice and the beautiful music.
Figure skating is so difficult.
It is. She woke up very early at 4 o'clock in the morning every single day. She went to the ice rink. She practiced jumping. She fell down on the hard ice. Her body hurt, but she kept practicing.
She was very dedicated. She had a very strong work ethic.
She wanted to go to the Olympics. She wanted to win a gold medal for her country. But when it was time to choose the best skaters for the Olympic team, the judges did not choose her.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she was not good enough.
That is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
To work so hard for a dream, and then the door just closes.
She was very sad. Her dream was dead. She had to find a new life. So she got a job at a fashion magazine. It was a famous magazine called Vogue. She worked there for 15 years.
She worked at the magazine for 15 years. That is a long time. Was she happy?
Well, she liked the clothes. She looked at beautiful dresses every day, but she did not make them. She only wrote about them.
She was watching other people create art.
Exactly. Then she reached the age of 40.
40 years old. A very big number for many people.
Yes. At age 40, she was planning her own wedding. She went to many stores to find a wedding dress. She looked at hundreds of dresses, but she did not like any of them. They were all boring to her.
She had a very good eye for fashion because of her magazine job.
Exactly. She stood in a dress store, and she had a thought. She thought, I cannot find a beautiful dress, so I will make one myself.
Wow.
She hired a person to help her sew. She designed her own wedding dress.
That was the first dress she ever made for an actual event.
Yes, at age 40. And she realized she loved designing. So she opened a small dress shop in a hotel. She started her own company. Before age 40, she never designed a dress for a business.
And she didn't let her age stop her.
No, she did not say, I am 40, I am too old to start a company. The other designers started when they were 20.
She ignored the comparison. She ignored the other people on the train.
She just started drawing dresses, and soon, women loved her designs. Today, she is at the very top of the fashion world. She changed her whole life in the middle of her life.
These two stories, the chicken man and the dress designer, they share a very powerful message. They prove a common English phrase. The phrase is, age is just a number.
Age is just a number. I want to repeat that for our learners. Age is just a number. It is a beautiful phrase.
Let us examine what that really means. The number of years you have walked on this earth, 30, 40, 50, 80, it is just a piece of data.
Like your height.
Exactly, like your height or your shoe size. It is a fact, but it is not a wall. It cannot stop you from learning.
Your past does not decide your future. If you were a train worker yesterday, you can cook chicken tomorrow. If you wrote for a magazine yesterday, you can make dresses tomorrow. You are the one who decides, not the calendar.
But this brings us to a very difficult point. Stories are wonderful. Harlan Sanders and Vera Wang give us hope. But hope is just a feeling.
That is very true.
Hope does not build a business. Hope does not teach you English words.
You are exactly right. I read these stories and I felt very excited. But then I sat at my desk and thought, okay, but how do I actually do it?
Right. How do we take action?
If our listener wants to change today, they cannot just dream. Action is the only thing that changes reality. So what does this all mean for you?
How do we begin? How do we take that first step?
I studied the science of habits. I read about how the brain learns new tricks. And we narrowed all the science down to 3 simple steps. We want to give you a clear map.
3 steps. That is very manageable. What is step 1 on our map?
Step 1, be specific.
Be specific. Let us explain this carefully. What happens if a person is not specific?
The brain gets confused. Many people use vague words. Vague means cloudy, not clear. They wake up on January 1st and say, this year, I want to have a better life.
A better life. It sounds very positive. Why is that a bad goal?
Because your brain does not know what a better life looks like. It is like getting into a taxi and saying to the driver, take me to a nice place.
The driver will just sit there and look at you.
Exactly. The driver needs an address. Your brain needs an address.
Ah. If you say better life, the brain asks, does that mean sleeping more? Does that mean eating more vegetables? Does that mean earning more money?
Yes. The brain has too many choices. And when the brain has too many choices, it gets tired. It does nothing. Another example. Someone says, I want to learn English.
That is a very common goal. Millions of people have that goal.
It is a great goal, but it is too big. It is too vague. Learn English is a mountain. You cannot climb a mountain in one step. If you say, I want to learn English, you will look at a thick dictionary, feel scared, and close the book.
So how do we fix this? How do we become specific?
A specific goal is a small, clear action. You can measure it. You can see it. Instead of, I want a better life, you say, I want to save $20 every week.
That is very clear. On Sunday, you look in your box. Are there $20 inside? Yes or no? It is easy to measure.
Exactly. Instead of, I want to be healthy, you say, I will walk outside for 30 minutes every morning after breakfast.
The brain knows exactly what to do. Walk, 30 minutes, after breakfast. It is a clear address for the taxi driver.
And for our English learners, do not say, I want to speak perfect English. Say, I will learn 3 new English words every day. I will write them in a small notebook.
3 new words, notebook, every day. Step 1 is clear. Be specific. Give your brain an exact address.
Let us move to step 2. Step 2, start small.
Start small. This is where many passionate people fail. They have a specific goal, but they try to do too much on the first day.
We all do this. We get excited. We want to be perfect immediately. If we want to get strong, we go to the gym for 3 hours. The next day, our muscles hurt so much we cannot walk.
Right, and so we never go to the gym again. We burn out.
Exactly. I want to remind everyone of the old story of the tortoise and the hare, the slow turtle and the fast rabbit.
Oh yes, a classic story.
The fast rabbit runs very quickly, gets tired, and goes to sleep. The slow turtle just takes one tiny step at a time, and the turtle wins. The phrase in English is, slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race. I want to use an analogy here too. I want to talk about building a brick wall.
Oh, I like this. Explain the brick wall.
Imagine a man. He wants to build a very big, tall wall around his garden. He stands in the grass. He looks at the huge empty space. He thinks, this wall needs 10,000 heavy bricks. I cannot carry 10,000 blocks. I am weak. It will take years.
Looking at the big picture makes him feel tired before he even starts.
Yes, the size of the job makes him freeze. So he sits down in the grass. He does nothing. But what if he changes his mind? What if he starts small?
What does he do?
He says, I am not going to build a giant wall today. I am going to forget the wall. I am only going to focus on one single brick.
Just one.
Yes. He picks up one brick. He puts wet cement on it. He places it on the ground. He makes it perfectly straight. He looks at it and says, I did a good job today.
And then he goes inside and rests.
Yes. The next day, he comes out. He brings one more brick. He places it next to the first one. It takes 5 minutes. He does this every single day. Just one brick.
Seems very slow.
It is slow, but he never stops because one brick is easy. It does not make him tired. And after a year, what happens? He has a long, strong wall. He built something huge by doing something tiny.
That is a brilliant picture for the mind. If you try to study English vocabulary for 5 hours on a Sunday, your brain will hurt. You will hate the language. You will stop.
You were trying to carry 10,000 bricks in one day.
Exactly. Instead, study for 10 minutes every day. 10 minutes is one brick. Everyone has 10 minutes. You can study while you sit on the bus. You can study while you cook soup. Start small. Put down one brick.
Be specific. Start small. Now we need step 3.
Step 3. Do not wait for the perfect moment.
Waiting. The great enemy of progress.
I hear this excuse all the time. I even say it myself. People say, I want to start a new business. I will start next year when I have more money. Or they say, I want to start walking. I will start on Monday when the weather is sunny.
They believe a magical time will arrive. A time with no stress, no busy work, and perfect weather.
But the perfect time never arrives. Monday comes and it is raining. Next year comes and you have to pay a big bill. Life is always messy. Life is always busy.
Let us use an analogy about driving a car. Imagine you want to drive to a store on the other side of the city. You get into your car, you start the engine, you look down the street, you see a traffic light, and it is red.
Okay, I see the red light.
Do you stay in your driveway? Do you say, I will wait here until every single traffic light in the entire city turns green at the same time, then I will drive?
That is crazy. That is impossible. They will never all be green at the same time. You'd sit in your driveway forever.
Exactly. You would never leave your house. How do you actually get to the store? You drive to the first light, you wait, it turns green, you drive to the next light. You deal with the problems as they come.
That is a powerful way to look at life. When you want to start a new project, the lights are not all green. You might not have money. You might not have free time. But you cannot wait in the driveway. You have to take the first step in the messy, imperfect moment.
Start where you are. Use what you have right now. There's a beautiful quote about this. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
Oh, I love that. The second best time is now. But I want to be honest, though. We have the 3 steps. Be specific, start small. Do not wait for perfect. But even with these steps, starting is still very, very hard.
It is hard. Because we are human. We have strong emotions. We have a dark cloud inside us.
The dark cloud is fear. Fear is a roadblock. A roadblock is a giant tree lying across the road. You cannot drive past it. Fear stops us from moving.
What kind of fear? Fear of wild animals?
No. The fear of looking stupid. The fear of failure. Sometimes I know I should start, but I'm just afraid of looking stupid. I want to make a confession to you and our listener. A confession is when I admit something embarrassing about myself.
We all have embarrassing stories. Please share yours.
A few years ago, I decided I wanted to learn how to cook. I did not want to make simple eggs and toast. I wanted to make fancy, complicated food. I had a specific goal. I started small. I did not wait for the perfect moment. I went to the market and bought fresh vegetables, nice meat, and expensive spices.
You followed all the steps. You were ready.
I was very ready. I stood in my kitchen. I put on a cooking apron. I opened a big recipe book. I began to chop the vegetables. I turned on the stove. I put the meat in the pan. I was trying so hard to follow every instruction, perfectly.
And how did the food taste?
It was a complete disaster. Everything went wrong at the same time. The heat was too high. The meat started to burn. I panicked and threw water into the pan. Huge clouds of smoke filled the kitchen. The smoke alarm started making a loud noise. Beep, beep.
Oh no, a kitchen full of smoke. That is stressful.
My eyes were watering. I looked into the pan. The food was completely black. It looked like hard black rocks. I somehow managed to burn water. I do not even know how that is scientifically possible.
What is very special talent, burning water?
It smelled like an old shoe on fire. It was terrible. I had to throw all the expensive food into the garbage. I opened all the windows. And then I ordered a cheap pizza on my phone.
It is a funny story now.
Yeah.
But how did you feel in that moment, standing in the smoke?
I felt hot shame. I felt completely stupid. I looked at the black pan and thought, I am a failure. I am not a chef. I should never try to cook again. I just wanted to hide.
This raises an important question. How do we deal with fear of failure? Because that feeling is something everyone feels. Everyone feels that hot shame when they fail at something new. The first time you try something, it will probably be bad. That is normal. Nobody is perfect at the beginning. We need to explain why that happens.
Yes. Why does failure feel so bad?
Inside your brain, there is a small part called the amygdala. Think of it as the alarm bell of the brain. Its job is to keep you safe. Thousands of years ago, its job was to warn you about dangerous animals. Look out, a tiger.
So it makes you feel fear to protect your life.
Exactly. But today, we do not have many tigers. So the alarm bell rings for other things. When you try to cook a new meal, the brain says, warning, this is new. We do not know how to do this. We might look stupid. Other people might laugh at us. If they laugh at us, we will be kicked out of the group. Danger.
So the brain is trying to protect my feelings by telling me to stop trying.
Yes. The brain prefers to be safe and bored. It hates being new and uncomfortable.
So how do we fight this alarm bell? If the brain wants me to stop, how do I keep going?
You have to understand that action changes the brain. When you only think about cooking, the brain imagines the worst things. It imagines the kitchen catching fire. It makes you terrified.
But what happens when I actually do the action?
When you take action, you teach the brain a new lesson. You cooked, you burned the food, the kitchen was smoky, but you did not die. No tigers ate you. You ate a pizza and you were fine.
Oh. So my action proved to my brain that failure is actually safe.
Exactly. The brain says, wow, we failed, but we are still alive. Maybe this is not so dangerous. The alarm bell gets quieter. I want to introduce a famous idea from an author named Susan Jeffers. She wrote a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Let us break down that title. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Many people think they must wait for the fear to leave. They think, I will speak English in public when I feel brave. I will wait until I'm not scared.
But the fear never leaves if you just wait.
Right. Bravery is not the absence of fear. Bravery is feeling your hands shake, feeling your heart beat very fast, feeling the sweat on your face, and then saying, I am terrified, but I'm going to open my mouth and speak the English word anyway.
Action makes you brave. Sitting on the sofa and thinking just makes you more afraid.
Action is the medicine for fear.
That is a huge lesson. But while studying this, I found something else that is very important. You cannot fight fear completely alone. The environment around you matters. The people around you matter.
The people around you are like the soil for a plant. If the soil is bad, the plant cannot grow.
Let us say you want to start a new business. You are excited, but a little scared. You tell your family and your old friends about your idea. What do they usually say?
Often they say things like, are you sure? That sounds risky. Or, most businesses fail. Or, stay at your safe job. Do not make a mistake.
Why do they say that? Do they hate you?
No, they do not hate you. They love you. They want to protect you. They hear your idea and their own alarm bells ring. They project their own fears onto you.
But their words are poison to a new dream. If your friends always say stay safe or don't risk it, they are telling you not to try. If you are already scared and your friends tell you to be scared, you will stop. The fear becomes too heavy.
It is very difficult to build a brick wall when 5 people are yelling at you to drop the brick.
Yes. You must find good people. You must surround yourself with people who understand your goal. People who will say, you can do it. People who cheer for you.
If you want to learn English, do not practice with people who laugh at your mistakes. Find other English learners.
Yes. When you make a mistake, another learner will say, I made that same mistake yesterday. Try again. You can do it.
A good group of people makes the fear feel very small.
So we have explored the lie of too late. We learned from the chicken man and the dress designer. We know the 3 steps. We know how to face fear. Now it is time to build our daily plan.
This is the most important part of our deep dive. Information is good, but application is better. How do we apply this tomorrow morning?
Let me start by explaining how real change happens. Real life is not like a movie. In movies, a person changes their whole life overnight.
Oh yeah, like a training scene.
Right. A person is poor and sad. Then loud music plays. We see the person running up some stairs, reading a book fast, and looking at a computer. And 2 minutes later, the music stops. The person is wearing a beautiful suit. They are rich. They are perfect. A movie makes change look like an explosion. It happens overnight.
But real life does not have loud music. Real life does not have a quick scene like that.
No. In real life, change is very small. It is almost invisible. We have a phrase in English, small things add up.
Small things add up. Let's give a clear picture of this phrase.
Imagine a large, empty bucket. You hold a small spoon with water. You let one tiny drop of water fall into the bucket. Plop. You look inside. The bucket still looks completely empty. One drop is nothing.
If you stop there, you have an empty bucket.
But what if one drop falls every single second? Plop, plop, plop. You walk away, you go to sleep, you come back the next day. The bucket is full of water.
The tiny drops joined together, they added up, they became something heavy and big.
Your daily habits are drops of water. This is why we created a simple daily plan. It is not about changing everything in one day. It is about adding one drop to the bucket.
Tell us the daily plan we put together. How does it work?
We divided the plan into 3 parts: morning, day, and evening. It is designed to fit into a very busy life. Let us start with the morning.
What is the first action when our listener wakes up?
In the morning, take just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. You do not need an hour. While you are sitting quietly, maybe drinking your tea or coffee, think of one small thing to improve today.
Just one specific brick to put in the wall.
Exactly. For example, your thought might be, today I will drink 1 extra glass of water at lunch. Or, today I will learn 3 new English words. Or, today I will send a kind message to my mother.
It is a tiny promise you make to yourself. It is not scary.
No, it is very easy.
Yeah.
So, you make your plan, then we move to the day.
During the busy day, you go to work, you take care of your family, but you remember your promise.
Yes. During the day, you take that one small step. You just do the action one time. You pour the glass of water and drink it. You open the notebook and write the 3 words. You type the short message to your mother and push send.
You do the action. You put the drop in the bucket.
That is it. You do not need to do 50 things, just the one thing you promised. And finally, we reach the evening. The day is finished. You are ready to sleep. This is my favorite part of the plan.
What do we do in the evening?
Before you close your eyes, you celebrate.
Let us be careful with the word celebrate. We do not mean buying expensive gifts or throwing a loud party.
No, no. A quiet, personal celebration. Maybe you tell yourself, good job. Even if it was tiny, it is a victory.
Why is this evening celebration important? Why not just go to sleep?
Because of brain chemistry. When you do something good and you feel happy about it, your brain releases a chemical. It makes you feel pleasure. Your brain says, I like that feeling. I want to do that action again tomorrow.
You are training your brain to enjoy the habit. You are building trust with yourself. You promised to do something in the morning, and you kept the promise.
Yes. You learn to trust your own word. But we have to talk about reality. What happens on a bad day? What if you had too much work? What if you simply forgot to do your small step?
Should you be angry at yourself? Should you feel hot shame again?
Never, never be angry at yourself for missing one day. If you forgot, that is okay. You just take a deep breath. You say, I missed today. That is okay. I am human. I will try again tomorrow.
You do not break the whole bucket just because you missed one drop. You just start dripping water again the next day. Tomorrow is a new beginning.
Yes, tomorrow is always a fresh start. Morning, plan one small thing. Day, do the small thing. Evening, celebrate or forgive yourself. It is a circle.
It is a gentle, powerful plan. Anyone can do this, no matter their age.
We have covered so much ground in this deep dive. I'm so glad we studied these stories and this science. Before we finish, let me gently review the core English phrases we learned today. This is good practice for our listener.
Repetition helps the brain remember. What is the first phrase?
The first phrase breaks the biggest lie. Say it with me in your mind. It is never too late.
It is never too late. There are many trains at the station. If you miss one, wait for the next.
The second phrase comes from the Colonel and the dress designer. Age is just a number.
Age is just a number. It does not decide what you can build tomorrow. You decide.
And the third phrase, think of the brick wall. Think of the tortoise and the hare. Start small.
Start small. Do not try to carry 10,000 bricks. Carry one.
Before we say goodbye, I want to say something very direct, especially to you, our listener, who is learning English with us right now.
Yes, we know learning a new language as an adult is a brave thing to do. It is not easy. Every word you learn is progress. Sometimes you might look at other people who speak perfectly, and you feel like you're moving too slowly.
You might think you missed the train for learning, but listen to us. Every time you try, you are putting a beautiful drop of water into your bucket.
We believe in you. The fact that you're here, listening, trying to understand, means you are doing wonderful work. You are exactly where you need to be right now.
Do not look at the other people on the internet. Do not look at the other trains. Look at your own path. You are doing a great job.
Keep moving forward. Keep building your wall one brick at a time.
I want to leave you with a final thought today, a question to think about while you walk or wash the dishes. Look closely at your own life. What is the one thing in your life you keep saying later to? Is it calling an old friend? Is it opening an English grammar book? What is the dream you put in a box?
Bring it out of the box.
Yes. And what is one tiny step you can take toward it this week? Not next year, not when the traffic lights are all green, this week.
Just one brick. Feel the fear and put the brick down anyway.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. It has been a true joy to share these stories and this time with you. Remember to be kind to yourself, start small, be brave, and we will talk to you next time.